All right, thanks for staying with us. We're back and it's still Crossfire with Dapo and Ishoma. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Everything seems calm. I know a lot of Lagosians and probably Nigerians are unwinding, and all of us are preparing for a very restful weekend. And to a very large extent, the weather has been a lot friendly in recent past, and the August break for the rains is still very much on, and we probably will be seeing more rain in the course of the year. A lot has happened in the course of the last 1 week, and this week characterized majorly all that has been said concerning the health of President Muhammadu Buhari and how much of information has been able to get out, especially from the Federal Executive Council, about the health of the president. As a matter of fact, information have it, or major things in the public domain have it that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari has not done so well, especially in the area of information management. Why conceal the status of President Muhammadu Buhari's health will be, something that a lot of people are not really very sure. Is it fundamental? Is it constitutional to see President Muhammadu Buhari as a private individual just because he is not feeling fine or because he has health issues, or is still the president of Nigeria, be it sick or healthy? And the information is such that people are agitated because there is no other platform to get information aside from what the Buhari-led government has allowed Nigerians to do, and that is to speculate, to suggest, to infer from everything that is happening. We have the first batch of governors who has gone to see the president. We have the second batch, and all that we have seen are photographs and showing that the president is still as humorous as ever. And we have photographs stating that the president is in good health. But to a very large extent, people are of the opinion that if you can give handshake, if you can give hugs, if you can smile, why not then talk to Nigerians and just say, I am okay, I am well, I'm recovering fast? I still don't see any reason why the Buhari-led government, especially the senior special advisors, as it has to do with communication, publicity, and the likes of it, are not giving Nigerians information to hold. That will form the basis of our conversation today on Crossfire. Myself and Ishoma will be doing much of that. We have a guest in the studio, and it's no other person that we can bring in to help elucidate and just throw more light on some of the things that are happening. It's a very erudite gentleman, very loaded when it comes to talking about politics and social-related matters. Let's meet Professor Nwakobia. Prof, good to have you on Crossfire this morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Dapo. Ishoma, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
I mean, fortunately, my beard seems to be much more than yours. The last time you were on the show, it's like a competition now.
Beard contest,
something like that. Good to have you on the show, Prof, and thanks for making our time for us.
My pleasure.
Now, Prof, before we go into the major focus of conversation today, let's quickly, as a build-up to what we're going to be looking at, and that is information management. At the moment, from the Buhari-led government. Now, the National Orientation Agency, I know that you are very passionate about this agency and the activities of this agency. And now they came out for the very first time since the Buhari-led administration and since the Director General in person of Dr. Garba Abari. A lot of people that we have had conversation with in recent past have it that, that agency is moribund. But for the very first time in a long while, they came out to really reject, renounce, and keep promotion on to say that hate speeches will not be allowed, that people should desist from it, and all of that. Let's quickly talk about the position of the National Orientation Agency on this particular matter, and then let's take your comment on hate speeches. What and why? We are more divided than ever. During the last regime, we felt, So anyway, let's take your thought.
Dapo, interestingly, I was somewhere last night when the news came that Buhari has finally addressed the press on hate speeches and the need for brotherhood and peace. And it was interesting to see him talk. But you know what? It's more curious to see him warn against what he should attend, contend, contain, and handle. You don't warn. You're supposed to be a glue of sorts. The National Orientation Agency is supposed to carry the people along. You're supposed to inform the people. You're supposed to tell them about the beauties of this country, about the greatness of this country, about the benefits of our togetherness, about how God in His munificence has brought us together for certain reasons, and then make the people buy into our togetherness, make the people buy into our brotherhood. And I saw him on network news and then on TVC news talk about it. And what I just said was, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But you know what? We're where we are because a lot of politics holds sway. Political correctness is the word, is the language. And then certain appointments that our dear president made, obviously I imagine that where he is in London, he would be looking at them with quite a whole lot of remorse. Because the truth is...
That's if the president actually feels otherwise.
No, I think he's human. I think our president has a conscience. I think our president understands the urgency that brought him to power. And I think that Nigerians understand that at this point, and that's why we've actually had more presidential ministerial retreats in 2 years of this administration than we had in 5 years and 3 weeks of Jonathan's administration. We've had almost more retreats than we had in Yar'Adua's tenure. And that is because of political correctness. Rather than rejig the cabinet, they're trying to manage a cancerous, they're trying to manage a gangrenous, they're trying to manage an infected wound. And I think that that is not the way to go, because we have a country that is in recession. We have joblessness, unemployment, and the likes everywhere. And so what we must begin to do as a nation is to first put square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes, and then move to the next level, you know, inspire confidence and faith across the Niger. Tragically, our morale as a people, our morale as a nation, our morale as an enterprise is at its lowest ebb. Nigerians are despondent, Nigerians are disappointed, Nigerians are angry. Nigerians are saying that the hope that change and the change regime and the change mantra that resonated 2 years ago will bring us a new dawn is almost totally frittered away.
Now, if I understand you, Prof, I mean, sorry to cut you short as regards the question, you know, which Dapodi put forward. Now, I know that we're supposed to have national orientation agencies in terms of state directors, and we should have offices at the various local governments. Now, even if we're not having something solid coming from the national, what are the state directors doing? And then what exactly are the local governments doing in tandem with the local offices, that's the local national orientation agencies across the local governments, to ensure that hate speeches and religious, you know, unbecoming speeches are curtailed? Because this is a national problem, and if we do not address it, God forbid we tilt towards another civil war. So what exactly, basically, the state and then the local governments doing in tandem with the state and local directorates of the agency?
Ishama, first, let me take your prayer, and I say a big amen to it. God forbid that we degenerate into massive crisis, conflict, and conflagration. God forbid that our country and our youths and women and children are faced or put in harm's way by the hate protagonists. But I want to say here that, unfortunately, almost always when I hear Nigerians discuss, they think that change actually begins with the people. Change leadership is a pyramid, top to bottom. We actually had that debate on one of the forums on WhatsApp that I convened. And the truth is that all over the world, guardianship and parenthood is the synonyms. for leadership. And you don't expect a child born by riotous parents to come out sane and proper or peaceful, except he's by chance or by Jove, a miraculous intervention, or a guardian takes over that child.
Or one who has worked on himself.
Now, when you have agencies, they look up to their leader. And then if their leader is not making strong statements because of fear of disloyalty or being branded disloyal, they keep mute until their master, quote unquote, or their DG speaks out. Maybe now that he has spoken, perhaps we'll see the local government units of NOA speaking out. Maybe now that he has spoken, we'll see the state's directors speak out. But the truth is, what message? You know, because it's not necessarily about what you say. It's about how you say it. You know, all over the world, we have seen leaders who have been able to galvanize public support and national cohesion, as well as patriotism. Remember Winston Churchill of the United Kingdom. Remember Barack Obama, even in the face of a Congress that was controlled by the opposing party, he was able to pull through somehow to see that Obamacare came into law. You know, I think that the time has come for us to begin to look at issues dispassionately and make the ordinary people the center point, the linchpin, the summum bonum.
Okay, Prof. I mean, let's build up on you know, on this conversation. For me, I think there may be a fundamental problem from the ministry itself. I mean, if the Minister of Information is up and doing and up to the task of information dissemination and management in government, I think the agency would have been seen more functional, because I see a lot of dysfunction. I expect, I mean, major campaigns, you know, from this agency, telling the people, like you said, about our togetherness, how beautiful it is for us to stay together, how much of handshake that we have had, the Hausa person to the Yoruba person, the Igbo person to the Hausa person, and all of that. We have seen less of that. Anyway, we'll build up to that. We'll be coming to talk about that
Can I chip in something?
Okay.
Because you just struck a chord in me.
No, two chords, actually, because one also in me.
Who supplies your water? Is it Merua from the north? Who is perhaps your security man? He is a northerner. Who perhaps brings your tomato? He's a northerner. These are our brothers. Dakpo, we have lived together as a people. We believe in each other. My best friends are from the north. You know, ironically, I tell people that I sit in a very peculiar position here, because as these hate speeches resonate, my vice presidential candidate in 2011 happens to be Shetima Yerima, who, as it were, is one of those who addressed the forum in the north where they said that the Igbos should exit on or before October 1st. He's about my best friend. I have friends across this country, and our ethnicity or our religion has not been any problem. And I'll tell you where our problem is from. Poorly managing the post-electionary situation after March 2015.
And who should be responsible?
You know, where
does the state government also come in?
I said this without fear of querulous critics, that immediately after the election, I wrote repeatedly to Mr. President directly about the need to attend and contain the hate and galvanize, and he acknowledged my text messages. It's on record. You know, I have said repeatedly that what we were supposed to do was to begin to heal the wounds. And then, for God's sake, that's why I align with the First Lady. When I dropped in this information, that's why I align with the First Lady when she said that those who did not even go through the journey of the electioneering process and protocol with us have taken over the presidency. Because if they understood how cantankerous, how vicious, if you like, how full of invectives and insults the whole electioneering process was, they will understand that immediately after, our dear president should have come out as the father of the nation to galvanize, to unite, to heal the wounds. And then rather than do that, we had the 97 and 5% or 95 and 5% normative and protocol, and that deepened the wounds. Let me give you a practical instance. As you and I talk, Nnamdi Kanu led a protest in London calling for a united Nigeria 2 years before the election. And then you ask yourself, what suddenly happened that between 2013 and 2015, he turned to a tiger ready to fight? Some would say, oh yeah, that was because the PDP lost the election. But I think it's deeper than it. What we must begin to do as a people and as a nation is to understand first that we have problems with our nationhood, yes. Denying it is like denying that you're a man, Dakbo, and someone coming to say that a fully bearded Homo sapien in your visage is a woman. And then some tend to believe it. It is an ironical perspective that some people are trying to throw on the space. So many things were drawn wrong immediately this government came into place, and that is what is haunting us today. And rather than address it, those who manage the publicity and the image of Mr. President deepened it. I'll give you a practical instance.
Information management in this government has failed.
It's at the highest low.
Okay.
Let me tell you, Dakpo, you come into government and you know that after that kind of election, you're going to have people who will not buy into, who will continue to vent and vent their spleen and then continue to fight you. And then rather than try to make them understand that, oh, the election is gone, we must move together as one people and make Nigeria better, you introduce the word called willing willers. Who's willing for who? And why are they willing? You know. And then I told you, about 6 months ago, I said, increasingly, those called willing willers have peopled the group of patriots in this country. They are becoming the ones who are saying government must do things rightly. Because if you continue to deal with propaganda rather than performance, we have a problem. If you continue to side with everything government does and undermining the fact that the Nigerian people are in poverty, in hunger, and boys are jobless, and it's villainy, banditry, crisis, and conflict everywhere, then you're not fair to the Nigerian enterprise. The time has come for us to put the Nigerian people before every political debate and then ensure that we make life better for the people. So, save and except that is done, we will continue to pander and deceive ourselves.
So this government has failed. This government has failed Nigerians.
When you say this government, should it be just the federal government?
Yeah,
what are the state government doing? Because
what
now
has government done?
Permit me now, because now that we are having states all clamoring for restructuring. Now, when you say restructuring, you're asking for more responsibilities. We need to see responsibility also from the state governors. So far, we have not seen much from even the respective state governments as regards peace, preaching for peace, working in partnership with the state directors of the orientation agency. I need to see pragmatic leadership from them.
There's no devolution of powers. They will tell you it's because yes, they will tell you it's because we still have we still have an overfed central or federal government at the expense, feeding at the expense of the state, apparatus. You see, because you have the administrative arm of government being fed.
But that's my question.
Oh, okay, yes, all right.
Yes,
no, I think you made a statement. Okay.
Let me say this: that every so often we try to, and that's why I align with your position, that the states will always have an alibi. They will say, Abuja hasn't done this rightly. They will say, until we're given more powers. And this, Isioma, that is sizably true.
But we need to see vision from them.
I'm coming to where, but even within their abilities, even within their confines of control, they can do a lot. Because these citizens are from certain states. Those who are threatening Nigeria, are from certain states. My dear friend and brother, Shetima Yerima, is from Kaduna State. Nnamdi Kanu is from Abia State. My brother who has said that if restructuring is not the option, my big brother, Don Pedro Obaseki, is from Edo State. We have people who are, their state governors can actually call them. And say, and then traditional leaders and people, and say to them, we will continue to push the message for restructuring. You halt this fire, seize this smoke screen, and let's push. Because whether we like it or not, and I'm going to shock you, for those who are thinking that Odua Republic, Arewa Republic, Biafra will just come, they are actually unaware of contemporary historicity. If you go to the United Nations and bargain, we have countries that broke up from their parent countries and they are not recognized in the world.
That's true.
There's a country, I think it's Northern Greece, They don't have a visa. They don't have a passport. They have to go through Italy to access any country. Somaliland. There's a country called Somaliland, not recognized anywhere. You have to. And I'm saying this to my brothers who are...
They went in isolation.
Yes, you succeed and go into isolation. I'll give you a practical instance. We live in Nigeria. I have asked my brothers who believe that Biafra is a must, where is Biafran territory? And then if they show you Biafran territory, it includes the Midwest. Now the Midwesterners are saying they want Bender Republic. If they show you the Biafran territory, it includes the South-South. And they're saying they want Niger Delta Republic. Exactly. So if you go to the United Nations, they will simply tell you, why are you coming here with dream projects that are not, where is your territory? You don't even have a territory. You cannot force, you say you were forced into Nigeria. Do you want to force the South-South into Biafra? Do you want to force Delta and part of Edo State into Biafra? So it just, I think that the time has come for us to be true to ourselves. It was my mentor, one of the greatest writers of all times, Sir Walter Scott, that said, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. So many people emotionally and emotively buy into the hokum of an Oduwa Republic, of a Biafran Republic, of an Arewa Republic, not understanding that global historicity doesn't even have a place for their clamor. And then our constitution doesn't even have a place for a referendum, not yet. So what we must do, if you truly, truly want Biafra, wait until we amend the constitution or repair the structure, and then when we repair the structure and infuse referendum and all those normatives, then we move to the next level. Then some would say, okay, Chris, your argument is true by half. What about the United Nations? For the United Nations to invoke or ask a nation to conduct a referendum, like they are about to do with the Catalonia in Spain, you must show that you're autochthonous, you must define your territory, you must show that your people are increasingly willing. The Biafran territory as it is today cannot stand, and I beg my Igbo brothers to understand that we must be mindful of what we do today because of our children, our women, and so many of the people funding these embarks perhaps have two nationalities. Some of them have the Nigerian passport, the British passport. Some of them have the American passport. When the crisis comes, they will run away. Your children, my children, will perhaps be the victims of a collateral damage.
Okay, we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll still be talking about the dysfunction that have been observed in the Buhari-led administration, especially as it has to do with information management. We'll be right back after now. Join us again. All right, welcome back. And it's still Crossfire with Dakbo and Ishoma. We have Professor Chris Nwakobia Jr. in the studio with us, and we've been talking about national matters. Now, as a build-up to our conversation, pro-Buhari protesters takes over Abuja streets. Still talking about information management, still talking about the reason why people have been left to their own opinions, people have been left to propaganda. People have been left in the hands of suggestions and counter-suggestions, trying to make up stories, as it borders around, the disappearance of our president. Today is the 95th day, and it's still counting, and we really don't know exactly what is happening. Now, a group of protesters supporting the president, took over the streets in the federal capital yesterday, saying that, okay, you don't have a right, to be agitating for the president to come back. People have also opined that the president can be away for as long as he wishes, for as long as constitutionally handed over to the vice president, and all of that. Now, do you think people have a right to actually ask for their president? Where is Mr. President? Where is the man we voted for March 2015? A lot of people, don't forget, voted for the APC, not because they believe in the political party and their ideologies, but particularly because the H-man of that party that time that came with the change mantra was actually led by President Muhammadu Buhari. I think predominantly
for the acting president.
Based on the love they have. I think predominantly. Just to add that.
Let me say this, Dapo, that first of all, will correct the word. Our president did not disappear. We know that our president went overseas for medical attention. Now, have they handled the media issues properly? Have they managed the media and the information protocol effectively, efficiently, and effectually? I think the answer is a no. And they know that.
Okay.
You know, there's no need pandering about it. They know that. What must be done now is to understand that governance, the essence of leadership, is to benefit.
So you support why people are out now? You support this agitation?
Two opinions exist.
Okay.
On the one hand, people are saying that governance, government must tell us exactly what is happening with and to our president, and that our president must resume or resign after 90 days on medical attention overseas. He has to. And they have the right to protest.
Okay.
Then the other group is saying that...
No, Prof, don't dodge my question. I'm not talking about the right to protest now, which is fundamental. I'm talking about the right to ask, where is Mr. President?
I'm going on that. Okay, that's where I'm going. Okay. You know, you don't... If you listen very well, you know that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Now, on the one hand, just watch where I'm... On the one hand, another group is saying that it doesn't matter that there's no vacuum. But I subscribe to the fact that a nation that voted greatly for a president cares about the president. And I subscribe to the fact that Nigerians have the right to demand about the exact position or health and otherwise of our president.
Okay.
I subscribe to the fact that, you know, karma and nature has a cyclic tendency of running things. I remember in 2009, 2010, that our dear president insisted that Shehu Yar'Adua should tell us the exact state of his health or resign. Lai Mohammed then said that Nigerians demand a daily update as to the state of his health. Then the issue, because people try to confuse it now, the issue wasn't about whether power was transmitted. We all wanted to know the exact state of our president's health.
Exactly.
Now, we do care so much about President Muhammadu Buhari, and Nigerians want to know exactly what is wrong and how it is going. And then some have said that, oh, matters about the state of health of the president are high security issues. But we have to have an idea of when our president will perhaps return. 94 days after, nobody is telling us. And then people are branding those who are asking that question as enemies of government. And I think it's wrong. Okay. That's exactly where I said, and I have repeatedly said, that going out with water hoses and tear gas canisters against those who were protesting and asking for the true state of our president's health and his return to office was very wrong. It is abrogating from their constitutional right. You cannot, on the one hand, say that our president has complied with the provisions of the Constitution, and then those who are protesting peacefully, who are complying with the Constitution, you deny them the right of protest.
The point is that don't you think at this point in time, having such gatherings will add to the heat that the polity is feeling at the moment, considering a lot of things happening at the same time in the northeast, in the southeast, even in the south, and so many things happening at the same time.
Why did the polity get heated?
Any protest can be hijacked, you know, at this point.
Dakpo.
Why it
Dakpo.
is? Yeah.
I remember the 2012 fuel subsidy protest. I remember that we were at Ojota for over 2 weeks. I remember the tumultuous and monstrous crowd. I remember that after about the 14th or 15th day, policemen and security men
soldiers arrived.
Came to this. And then I remember how we cried to the high heavens, Dakpo, this crowd in Abuja is not 10% near the crowd at Ojota and in Abuja during that crisis and conflict. Dakpo, we didn't have a sit-out and sit-tight that was that long. Dakpo, NLC did not call a strike that grounded the nation. This is just people sitting at the Peace Fountain.
That's how it starts.
And for 2 days, you couldn't.
A wildfire gets ignited, Prof. A wildfire gets ignited by just a stick of match.
Because I left, I was sick. I moved from my hospital bed to Ojota. I addressed the rally about 4 or 5 times. I saw the heat. I saw the tension. I saw the emotion. I saw the energy. I saw the electricity, Dakpo. Nobody broke that protest until after 15 days, when it looked like everything was gone back.
Prof.
Now why would you, 2 days after a protest just began in Abuja, use tear gas canisters and water hoses on people?
Because the few the few of them who were there, Prof.
Come on.
8 speeches has taken over the media. There were so many things that were said. You don't need
there was
100
a
people.
rally yesterday, and we did not see security presence threaten the people. Now, whatever hand it is you deal with Mr. A should be applicable to Mr. B. If you're telling Group A, do not protest, then you should have told Group B not to protest.
Let me say this. I have tears in my eyes when I analyze what is happening. The media is going hugely complicit. The civil society is going hugely complicit. Those who said resume or resign have not done anything against the law. If you're uncomfortable with them, why are you comfortable with those who are pro-government? It's the same. And then those who assume, if they were not procured or paid to do that, they were 10 times more in number.
This is a point. This has become political. That means
exactly
PDP is actually pitching something against the ruling party, APC.
Was the opposition party not part of our protest in 2012? Why do we pander?
So it simply means
the time to move Nigeria forward. Let me say this. The time to move Nigeria forward is now. We must understand the nuances of politicians and politicians. They will fight the incumbent with everything they have.
Which is normal.
What the incumbent must do is to deliver on the promises of democracy. Do good governance, and that becomes your mantra, not propaganda. I think that the time has come. Let me give you a practical instance. God knows, and everybody who is out there knows how much I care and love my president. You know that, Dakbo. But let me say this. I've sworn upon the altar of my God to be true to my conscience and to be true to the Nigerian people. My patriotism is first to country, and my love is to the president. But above all, to country. Every so often people say that there's no vacuum because our president complied with Section 145 of the Constitution. I ask myself, are we true? Yes, we have an acting president. But the spokespersons of Mr. President are still talking every so often.
Exactly.
Yes, we have an acting president who has a wife. But in a function in Imo State, the wife of the president attends that function as a first lady. Yes, we have an acting president. But 3 months ago, the National Assembly cleared ministers. They were just sworn in about 2 weeks ago without portfolio. Yes, we have an acting president, and then the spokespersons of Mr. President undermine.
Would something?
Please, Prof, it is good for Nigerians to understand where I'm coming from and where I'm going to. If you stop me midway, it just might not simmer down.
I don't want to forget my thoughts.
No, you will remember. Just as I go on, you'll find out that it's still within that thought.
Okay.
Now, yes, we have an acting president, but do you know what? During Ramadan, when our acting president should commiserate, should celebrate and congratulate our Muslim brothers, certain individuals produce a broadcast in Hausa, vouching same to be from Mr. President, addressing our brothers, our Muslim brothers. But he's on leave. We have an acting president. Is that right? Yes, we have an acting president. That's what the Ozubulu killing. A certain release was made public, claiming to have come from Mr. President, condemning it. But we have an acting president. That's what, do we have 2 presidents? You have one on leave, and you have an acting president. So until that leave is called off, we have one acting president, and he should be speaking. His aides should be speaking. But here we have people who consistently undermine the presidency, and you're telling me there's no vacuum. I think that I will return with that quote by Sir Walter Scott. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. There's so much deceit, chicanery, perfidy, mendacity, and hukum in the public space.
Professor Chris.
And until we address them, our search for the new republic will be distant.
Now, I'm thankful now that you're a lawyer. Now, yes, you did mention now that there is no vacuum. Well, in reality, there seems to be a vacuum. But constitutionally, there is no vacuum. Now, how much of address should we, because in all of this, I expected the Supreme Court, I expected Nigerians as yourself, to have moved a motion, or at least ask the Supreme Court for interpretation. For example, interpretation in the sense that, yes, I know that the Constitution is not explicit on certain things it should, as regards, shouldn't the president state the ailment he has and how long, definite term, how long he will be away. And also as regards what you just mentioned now that we have the acting president, should the president in time being stop or cease to function in terms of speeches and certain activities until he returns back and transmits a power. So
that's exactly what that's Prof's position.
My issue is persons like yourselves. Why haven't we seen anything in terms of legal motions to the Supreme Court to address these issues in the interest of Nigeria?
Ishoma, I said this without pandering. That question, with the greatest sense of respect, will not stand the test of barrage. Let me tell you why. All over the world, presidents fall sick and they go on sick leave. There is no normative anywhere in the world that says that that president must disclose. But because you have a moral responsibility to your people, to your nation, you tell them exactly what it is. But about your argument, whether he's not a wizard, he's not a medical professional to say that, oh, I'm sure that I'll be back in 2 weeks. And that was why Mr. President said that I will come back when my doctors give me permission.
Now, when is it constitutional for the government to set up, because I mean, it's constitutional that at a certain time
the Federal Executive Council can set up a committee.
Exactly, a medical committee to ascertain.
That is where Ishoma's question is tenable. Now, but you ask yourself, until the law is revoked, would your appointee wake up whilst you're still alive and ask for a medical team to be set up to determine whether you're of sane mind or a proper state to continue to govern? It's almost an impossibility. I don't see the Federal Executive Council of this enterprise as it is today.
Do you think the Federal Executive Council are sincere with the absence of, to Nigerians, with the absence of the president and the functions of the acting president? Do you think the Federal Executive Council is sincere to Nigerians?
Sincerity, it's a deep word here, because I am not a clairvoyant. I'm not a witch doctor. I know that what I see does not sound right. What I hear does not sound right. What I see does not seem right. I know that things can be done better, Dakbo. I know that if this Federal Executive Council puts the Nigerian people first, certain protocols and steps should and must have been taken before now. Okay. But unfortunately, like I told you, it is almost impossible to expect them to begin that protocol. And then don't forget again that when the resume or resign protest got to the National Assembly, the Senate came out to defend the president and what is happening. Yes, the president has not breached any law. Let's get it right.
Okay.
But incumbent on leadership everywhere in the world is a responsibility of building confidence and carrying your people along.
Which is
Nigeria has been much more polarized
than ever.
Even worse than the days of the Civil War and the First Republic. You know, and that is why leadership must attend and contain this situation. Save and accept that is done, Dakbo. I see propaganda continuing until 2019. I see lethargy in governance until 2019. I see the opposition getting louder and the voices of discontent getting deeper and louder. And I see the decibels of hate continuing. But I believe that the time has come for the Nigerian people to organize to take back their country in 2019 rather than to agonize.
Okay, would you agree with me, as is being said in some quarters, that this is a deliberate attempt of government today to hide the status of Mr. President?
Government or the cabal?
I mean, the legislative arm of government has been, I've taken a position, they took a position yesterday, Wednesday and yesterday, that, okay, the president has not committed any crime, and the president has done the right thing by writing a letter to us, telling us that it's going to be a way. I prove to you, Prof, that this government is consciously hiding the status, the health status.
The government hasn't pretended to you that they are unwilling to tell us, you know. So when you're putting it,
no, I think they have.
No, they haven't.
Okay, let me say this to you. Okay, no,
I'm saying exactly what you're saying.
No,
I am saying that the government hasn't pretended.
I have a question for you.
They are willing to tell you the exact status. So the government hasn't told you; they will tell you.
I have a question for you.
Don't make that your issue. What we must make the issue now is how leadership and governance affects the ordinary people. Okay. That's my concern. Because they are willing
in 2009, 2010, in rounding up, because of time, in 2009, 2010, former President Olusegun Obasanjo made a call to President Yar'Adua that, Umaru, people are saying that you are dead. Are you alive? How come we have not seen people come out today to put a call through to the president and at least let us hear his voice?
Do you want celebration of Jamboree?
Let me just say,
maybe not particularly.
Fantastic point, but let me correct the historicity. It was actually 2007 when we were campaigning, when the electoral processes for Yar'Adua becoming president came on, and then there was rumors he went on a brief overseas medication, and then there was rumors that he had passed on, and then former President Obasanjo made that call. But what I want to say, that we've seen photographs, and some people have asked me, is this a government of photographs and video, video tapings? Is this a government of some kind of pilgrimage to London? And I want to say that so many things have been managed poorly. But I do sincerely think that what the Nigerian people must begin to do now, and I'm speaking directly to the youths and our people out there, what we must begin to do is to cease to agonize. If we continue to fight ourselves on the social media, politicians will remain politicians. Okay. As you and I talk, rumors are that Atiku Abubakar is going to go back to the PDP, and several other people are going. The movements, it's 6 and half a dozen. Politicians and interests. But the time has come for us to galvanize, organize, mobilize, and work towards a people's revolution in 2019 to take back our country.
Thank you very much, Professor Nwakobia. And this is how far we can go on the show today. We'll be back next week with fantastic episodes. Do stay out of us. Do stay with us. Stay out of trouble. God bless you, and God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.